We're out here on Palestine. You know, our last few years, Palestine's been fishing really good. We had several low water years that were followed by high water years. It allowed vegetation to grow, and when the fish spawn, a lot of the fry live, so our fish population is really high right now. Those age classes of fish are to the point now where the majority of them are keeper fish, and some of them from the early years are getting really nice. Anybody that's around really good crappie fishermen, they're going to talk about fishing timber. It's a known pattern. It exists in a lot of our lakes in East Texas. And so what I did was I got to thinking about where the areas of Palestine where they had timber and started using my side imaging just to go find it. And you know, I've got thousands of trees marked, I guess. And they're not all gonna have fish, so that's another thing about your electronics. You gotta be able to study them and pick out which ones are holding fish. Like, we pulled up to fish this one and it only looks like it had about a dozen fish on it. So we're not gonna sit here and catch 50 off this one tree, but we're gonna try to catch 2 or 3 or 4 of these really nice quality fish, and then we're gonna go look at more and more and more. And you can absolutely come upon one that's got a big school of fish on it, but normally it's just going to be these really nice fish in groups of 8 to 10 or 12. We're fishing a 16th ounce head. We don't have a lot of wind, so we're not fishing super deep most of the time. I'm fishing it on an 8-foot bonehead spinning rod. I've got 12-pound bonehead braid, and right now I've got a bluegrass 2 3/8 inch slim stick on. I'm fishing it on a pink head. There's several of us guys that fish that combination a lot, and it's a really good combo. I've been doing well with a bait that's got a lot of pink on it. Another nice fish. But I'm out of them, so I've got a pink head. As long as it's got some pink on it, they're eating it pretty good. I've been on Tyler recently. They're eating something with a lot of chartreuse over there. So it's funny how you can go from one lake to another that are 20 miles apart or less, and it'd be that much different. So this is a solid limb, and my graph actually started reading it solid at 9 feet. We're in about 20 foot of water. But this was a fish right here to come up above the limb. And there's gonna be another one right here. You kind of see something just a little bit moved up and then got grainy in there. So what I'm gonna do is try to drop. My rod's 8 foot, I'm gonna hold it a foot off the water, so that ought to be right at 9 foot right there. Typically when somebody fishes a jig, they're actually gonna overfish it. You just don't have to do that much to get them to eat it. You're naturally going to be moving, the waves are moving a little bit, and if you ever watch bait in a tank or anything, they don't do, well, let me catch that fish and then I'll show you what they don't do. Apparently a great technique is to sit here and talk to you. It's another nice, see, all these are just going to be really good quality fish today. And we're going to catch a couple of hammers mixed in, but these 12-inch whites are what you're looking for. Yeah, we're talking about actually fishing a jig. You know, a lot of people want to do this and bounce it nonstop. Well, crappie's not going to hit something that's doing this and not staying in a strike zone. So you want to target where the fish is, get the bait in front of him, and then just, you know, little movements. A minnow will move around a little bit and he'll stay, and he'll move a little bit and stay. And that's all you're trying to replicate. You don't have to impart a whole lot of action to these things. And there's times where if you're moving it at all, you won't get bit. So we're post-frontal today. These fish are a little more finicky than they have been. We're having a little tougher time getting bit. But yeah, one thing, well, that's a good one. Oh, he was under a limb. That's a black crappie. So we don't catch a lot out here, but you'll catch a few. I keep going back to the same depth because I'm trying to target that one fish, and he keeps sitting and he'll keep coming up right here on top of that 10-foot limb. So it's real easy when I do that. If you watch, once I get my elbow extended, as soon as my bait touches the top of water, I know holding it a foot above the water, I'm going right back to the same spot every time. People ask me how I get my depth back every time like that. You just get in a routine of things you do. And I'm cheating too because I watch it go down on my graph to make sure. So I bring people all the time, Steve, that have never even touched a fishing rod. Last week I had a guy and a girl. The girl had been fishing once, guy had never been fishing, and they ended up with a 50 fish limit. They both had fish over 2 pounds. It's just, if you get somebody to show you to cut the learning curve way down, anybody can do this. Kids can do it, you know, older people can do it. It's something that translates well to everybody.